Following this idea that stories have inside them nutrition, they are not fast food. They take time. They need to be worked and digested. It's not a product to consume. And here in this video we want to offer some ideas on how to work with the story. We are again going back to the idea that the story is an alive being, it's an alive creature. And this creature will touch each person in its own unique way. What we need to do as storytellers is allow the story to do its magic and touch each person in the unique way. Maybe we tell a story with 10 people as an audience, maybe with 100 people or 1,000 people. The same story will steer different things in a different person. That's because the story is touching everyone in a different, unique way, and we cannot control, and we should not control that. We should instead allow the story to do its work, its magic, and feed and find the people's souls. Hopefully the stories will trouble the people. Hopefully the stories will make an earthquake in the people, and new possibilities might emerge from them. We need to give space for that.
So once the storyteller has finished the story, to tell the story, we think it's really important to allow a moment of silence. The silence will allow the story to land, to arrive, to be received by the listeners. So we want to offer to the people, okay, let's take a moment of break. Let's pause, be in silence for a few moments. We often invite a collective breathing in and out, having a deeper breathing, and this will somehow bring us together. Once we do this, we are inviting for a moment of feeding the story. This is not our original idea. We heard it from famous storytellers who invite a moment of feeding the story. This is the moment in which the audience is feeding the story with their words. And very often we may ask, okay, let's name some moments in the story that catch our attention. So the listeners can name different places in the stories. Or we may ask for emotions. Okay, what emotions this story has brought to you? And again, people are feeding the story with the words of their emotions. And a question that we really love is to ask, where do you find yourself in the story? Because very often the stories present universal patterns, collective journeys, and we, as listeners, we project ourselves in certain places in the stories. Different moments, different characters can reflect something about where we are in our lives in the moment of listening the stories. So when asking the audience, where do you find yourself in the story? People take a moment to reflect, and then they feed the story by naming those moments briefly. So these are a few ways of beginning to weave the working process, the working of the story.
Or maybe the waking up process. Maybe it's the waking up process that is being weaved through these, because stories are alive, so they are also hungry. We need to feed them, and by feeding the story, we feed ourselves more. And by feeding ourselves and getting the right nutrition, we wake up more and more into our true self, our unique, authentic, glorious self.
If the time allows it and you have more time for the story, maybe one full day or several days, you may consider more complex ways of working the story. Something that we did in this project was to invite the people to explore the nature, to wander and find a place on the land that resemble with the place they find in the story, and there to engage in conversations with the natural world. Also, exercises of embodiment, maybe embodying through dance and movement a character from the story or a moment in the story. Or having some journaling exercises in which we give a sequence of questions that relate to the topics and the themes of the story. So these are a few ideas that you can expand the process of working with the story, of weaving, in order to get more medicine from the story, to facilitate more self-discovery, more healing, more empowerment. And of course, we invite you also to be creative and find your own way of working with the story, trusting that the story will guide you in this process.
It is said that there is no story if there is no underworld. There is no story if there is no crisis. So you may ponder around the crisis that the people, the listeners, will find themselves in and give invitations around them. That's another way of working with the story, feeding the story. Now the theoretical part is coming to an end. Hopefully you got inspired. Hopefully something inside of you is waking up and saying, yes, I want to bring stories to the people. Yes, I want to be a storyteller. I want to be a vessel for the unseen world to come into the seen world. Maybe some stories are already calling you to be spoken through your lips. We are grateful that you spend this time with us and with the stories mainly. We're grateful that you took this step, you went through this journey to explore the magic of the stories, the realm of the stories.
Indeed, we are really grateful that you walked this journey with us. We really hope that you found wisdom and value in what we offered here. And we encourage you to pay it forward, to tell to your friends, your colleagues, your people about this online course, Weaving Stories. You may want to listen to some of the stories with your family member, your friends, and definitely use them as a way of making the world a better and wiser place. Thank you so much for being with us.
So, coming to the end, we are now giving you space to immerse into the magic realm of the stories. A series of stories is following this video. And may you feed yourself, may you find the nutrition that is necessary for you at this moment. And may you walk more and more the path of the storyteller. Thank you.
Thank you.